Welcome students, welcome to the lecture number 13 of chapter functions. Okay, in the previous chapter we have discussed about recursion, and we have already completed two questions related to the recursion concept. Okay, so in this tutorial we also going to perform two more questions based on the concept of recursion. So basically first we are going to solve the question that write a program to function to print Fibonacci series using recursion. Okay, so I think all of you know that recursion Fibonacci series, in Fibonacci series the series begins with 0 and 1. Okay, the Fibonacci series, in the Fibonacci series the series begins with mainly 0 and 1. Okay, the first term of the series are, first one is the 0 and other one is the 1, and the third position element is obtained by adding the previous two elements. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay, if we want to generate the next element, then we add 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 is basically 2. And if we want to generate the third element, then 1 plus 2 is 3. If we generate the next element, then 2 plus 3 is 5, and so on. So if we talk about the Fibonacci series, it will generate in this way. Okay, so let me first tell you a concept which we are going to implement in recursion. Suppose we have, this is my just wait, let me activate the eraser first. Okay, now suppose this is my first position. Okay, and this is my second position. We know that in Fibonacci series the first position element is always 0 and the second position element is always 1. Okay, so if we want to find the element of the third position, okay, then what we have to do, if we want to find the element of third position, then we have to add the element at the second position plus the element, okay, the first position and the element present at the second and first position, if we want to find the element of the third position. Okay, so if we say that suppose n is basically 3. Okay, so if we consider n as 3, then if we want to find the element at the position number n, that is 3, then in that case we have to find the element at the position number 2. 2 is basically 3 minus 1. So we can say that first we have to find the element at n minus 1 position. Okay, plus the second one is 1, and how 1 is obtained? 3 minus 2 is 1. So we have to find the element at the second n minus 2 position. Okay, so this is basically a general formula which we obtained, that if we want to find the element of any position in this Fibonacci series, then the concept is that add the element at the n minus 1 position with the element at the n minus 2 position. So basically we are going to implement this concept in our recursion program. Okay, so let us complete this one. First I will open the Python interface. Now the Python is open. I will open a new file for it, and then I will write the definition. So def, suppose we have given the name as Fibo, and n is basically the number of terms till we have to generate the Fibonacci series. Okay, if the value of n is less than equal to 1, okay, in that case what we have to do, we have to return n. Okay, and else the same pattern which we are following in our previous questions also. Else, in case of else, we will return this return. Okay, So as I told you, if you want to find the element of the nth position, then what you have to do? You have to find the element of the n-1 and n-2 position and add those elements. So we will use this concept in recursively calling the function that Fibo of n-1 plus Fibo of n-2. Okay. So once we get it all, once we get the solution of this, the Fibonacci series will be generated, and I will definitely explain you how this is going to be done. But first of all, I will use the input function for taking the number of terms from user. So enter the number of terms for Fibonacci series. Okay, so we will definitely accept the number of terms from the user, and once we get the number of terms from user, then what I will do, okay, I will run a for loop over here. Okay, the first I will print the message, print the Fibonacci series. Okay, now after that we will run a for loop for I in range, and we will write n plus 1, because if we write the range function, then okay, so let's begin. We have written n over here, and after that we will print the value which is returned by the Fibo function to us. So Fibo, and in the Fibo we will send the value of I. Okay, so as one by one each value is coming to I, and we are sending that value to the Fibonacci function, and that Fibonacci function will use the concept of recursion to find the element at that position, and then it will return the position, and that element will be printed over here. Then it moves to the next, and the next element will be presented. Let me first run this code, and then I will explain you how this code executes. Okay, so first we have to obviously save. So rec fib, we have given the name of this program as recfib. So if I given 5 terms, then you can see that I am getting the 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. These are the first 5 terms of the Fibonacci series. Okay, so now let me explain you that how this code work. Okay, so for that I simply open a notepad which helps me in execution of the code. Okay, now you see that at the main part, the value of n is given. So suppose the value of n is taken as 5. Okay, the value of n is taken as 5 first. Okay, so the number of value of n is given as 5 to the user. Then the message will be printed, the Fibonacci series, and after that the loop start executing. So in this loop it is written for I in range n. So value of n is right now 5, so it will generate value 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so it will generate from 0 to 4. So first the value of I will be given as 0, and this function will call Fibo 0. Okay, so this function will call Fibo 0. Now what will happen when the function goes to the, that is Fibo, and now the value of Fibonacci n is given as 0 to this function. Okay, so it will come over here, it will check whether the value of n is less than equal to 1. Yes, the value of n is 0, and 0 is definitely less than equal to 1. So what will it do? It will return the value of n. So over here what will happen, let me write this message also, the Fibonacci series. Okay, So first the 0 is returned by the function, it will return the 0. Okay, so when the 0 is returned by the function, then this print function will print 0 over here. The first term which is printed, that is 0. Then after printing the 0, it moves back to the starting of the loop, and then I will get the next value, that is 1, and the Fibo function will send 1 to the function. Okay, when we call this Fibo 1, the value of 1 is sent to the function. Okay, so the next time when the function is called, the value of n will be 1. Okay, now it will check whether the value of n, that is 1, is it less than equal to 1? Yes, it is equal to 1. So that's why it will return the value of n, and the value of n is right now 1. So 1 will be returned over here. So Fibo 1 will get the answer as 1. So it will definitely print the 1 over here. Okay. After that, what will happen? Then the value of I becomes 2, because it again moves to the loop. So the value of I becomes 2. And then this function, that is Fibo, will call the function with the value 2. Okay. Now the control moves to the function, and over there, Fibo n is equal to 2 is called. Okay. Now let's see how this function executes. First, it will check the value of n, is it less than equal to 2? Right now value of n is 2, and that is equal to 1 is false. It is not equal to, it is not less than equal to 1. So what will happen? The control moves to the else part, and it has to solve this expression, that Fibo. Now the value of n is right now is 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1, plus Fibo, the n minus 2 is 0. Okay, so you can see that first it will solve this expression, and then the answer will be given. So when it called the Fibo 1, we have already discussed, when we call the Fibo 1, we get the answer as 1 over there. So when it called Fibo 1, obviously 1 is less than equal to 1, so it will return the value of 1. And when it called Fibo 0, as you all know that when Fibo 0 is called, the value returned is 0. So 0, so 0, 1 plus 0 is 1. So this will return the value as 1. Okay, so when Fibo 0 is called, the value 0 is printed. When Fibo 1 is called, the value 1 is printed. And when Fibo 2 is called, in that case also 1 is printed. Okay, so the third term that is printed over here is 1. Right? Then again the control moves to the starting of the loop. Over there the value of I becomes 3. Okay, and then the control comes down, and it's called Fibo 3. Okay, so now the function is called with Fibo n is equal to 3. Right? So over there it checks first that the value of n is less than equal to 1. No, the 3 is not less than equal to 1. So it will come directly to the else part. So in else part, it will first Fibo n minus 1, 3 minus 1 is basically 2, plus then Fibo, this is 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay, so what it will do, it will first solve this Fibo 2. Okay, so when Fibo 2 is called, it is also divided into two parts. Okay, because when Fibo 2 is called, the value of n becomes true, and n2 is not less than equal to 1 is false. So in that case also this expression will be solved. So Fibo 2 is divided into two parts. One is Fibo 2 minus 1 is 1, plus Fibo 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay, so and then we have plus Fibo 1 with us. So this Fibo 2 is divided into this expression. Okay, because when Fibo 2 is called, then this expression will be the answer. So we know that when Fibo 1 is called, when Fibo just wait, when Fibo 1 is called, the answer will be 1. Okay, so we get the answer of this expression as 1, plus Fibo 0, the value of Fibo 0 is always 0, plus, and then again Fibo 1 is there, so value of Fibo 1 is 1. So it will be 2 and the answer returned by Fibo n is equal to 3 is 2. So in this case we get the answer as 2, and the fourth term, that is 2, will be printed. So in this way it is going to resolve this. This Fibo function will find the element of the particular position of the series. Okay, and for finding the particular position it is using the concept of recursion, that Fibo 2 is further divided into Fibo 1 plus Fibo 0, and when we get the values of all these, then it is added with the value of Fibo 1, and then we get the result. So in this way the recursion of this Fibonacci series is performed. Okay, now after the completion of this function, I am going to discuss the last question of the recursion, that is, write a function to implement binary search using recursion. Okay, so now we have to implement the concept of binary search using the concept of recursion. So let me show you the concept of binary search. You know, we have done this concept already in class 12th, right? So let me first write the definition program of the binary search, which we have done in class 12th. So in the binary search we will send the list to the function. Okay, and this function will do one thing. First it will find the beginning position, that is 0, and then it find the end position, that which is basically length of a list minus 1. Okay, then we will run a while loop over here, that while beginning is less than equal to end. Then first we have to find the mid, that is basically equivalent to beginning plus end floor division 2, and then we will check the if value of L mid. Okay, one more thing, that also we have to give the element that we want to search. Okay, so if the mid element, if the value of middle element is less than the element which we want to search, okay, so it means that element will be present at the right side of the middle value. Then what we have to do, we have to set beginning is equal to mid plus 1. Okay, just wait. And if L of mid is greater than the element, okay, right. So if L of mid is greater than the element, then it means the element will present at the left side of the middle element. So in this case we will shift the end to mid minus 1. Okay, but if the middle position element is not less than element or not greater than element, then it means that it is equal to the element. Okay, it is. So in that case what we will do, we will basically do the found is equal to 1 and print, and then we will simply break, come out of this loop. Okay, and after, and one more thing that we have to do over here is we use a variable named as found, and initially we took that variable as 0. Okay, and if the element is found, because if mid element is not less than element, not greater than element, so obviously it is equal to element. So in that situation we will put the value of found as 1, and then break keyword is used to come out of, help me to come out of this loop. Okay, so this is basically the concept of binary search without recursion. Okay, but when we use recursion in that, then what we will do, okay, you can see that in each of the whenever while loop executes, okay, a new value of the mid is generated, and accordingly to that mid position element, either the value of beginning or the value of end is changed. Okay, either the value of beginning or the value of end is changed. So if we want to apply binary search over it, so we will first send the list element, then beginning, then end, and the element which we want to search. Okay, and the element which we want to search. Now what I will do, if beginning is less than end, so when the beginning is less than end, if it is greater than end, right? If the beginning is becomes greater than end, it means you reach the end. So in that case you will return none. Okay, none, you know that none means nothing will be nothing, no value at all. And if it is not, then we will move to the else part. In the else part, first we will find the mid. Okay, that mid is equal to beginning plus end divided by 2, right? And then we will compare, as you see that we are comparing the value at the end. So we again compare, if L of mid is less than element, okay, if L of mid is less than element, then return, we call this function binary, all right? And in this binary we will send the list, okay, and the value of if the middle element is less than element, then the value of beginning will be mid plus 1. So so the second value is basically for mid, so we will send mid plus 1 to it, and then end, and then the element. Okay, so if L of mid is less than the element, then we will sending the new value for the mid, and rest of the value will be same. But if L of mid is greater than element, in that case you can see that if L of mid is greater than element, in that we are changing the value of end. So it means we again call the function, but at that time we will give the new value of end to that function. Okay, so we are writing return binary L comma, the value of beginning will remain same, but the value of end will change, and it will become mid minus 1 comma ELT, right? So this will be done. And else, if the mid is not less than element, not greater than element, so obviously it will be equal to the element. So in that case what we will do, we will return that mid value. Okay, we will return the mid value, right? So in this way, by using the recursion, we solve the we write the program of binary search. So let's call this code also, that let's suppose L is equal to you know that we have to enter the element in the ascending order, right? So 10, 15, 18, 21, 26, 35. Suppose these are the elements, okay, and we will print binary, and in that we will first send the list L, the position, starting position, that is 0, and the end will be length of L minus 1, right? And suppose we want to search the element, that is 26. So we will send this one, okay, and suppose we first just start. So first of all we run this program first. Okay, there is an error. What is basically the error? Okay, unexpected end of the file. Okay, sorry, at the last we forgot to put the bracket. So now you can see that the element which we are going to search, it is present at the 4th position. Okay, we are going to search the 26th number of element, so it is 0, at 0 position it is 10, 1, 15, second position 18, third position 21, and fourth position is 26. Okay, so suppose if we write an element which is not present in the list, suppose we give 16, 16 is not present in the list, then what will be the result? None. None means the element does not present in the list, as we have seen that, because if the element is not present in the list, then obviously this condition arises, and if this condition arises, it will send the value none to the function. Okay, so in this way we have solved the binary search code also. So you can write it down. So this is basically the last chapter of last topic of our chapter named as function. I hope you understand it, and still if you have any problem, then you can send your query to me. So that's all for today. In the next class we will start with a new topic, new chapter. Okay, thank you very much.